I'm Nathan Skipper with Montgomery Technology Incorporated, and this is session 14 of the MTI Control System Technician Training course. And in this session, we'll be covering advanced administration and troubleshooting features of the ProVision human-machine interface application that MTI provides. First of all, we mentioned in the last session that on the alarm log screen there's the option to edit timed events. Timed events are added through ProDesign by selecting a tag in ProDesign and choosing to add a timed event for that. And once you add that tag as a timed event tag, then you're able to go into ProVision and set up a schedule for that tag. And so you'll notice the list of tags that have been established as timed events, and then you'll notice also the ability to add an event description for any one of these. So if you wanted to edit one of these events, you would select that tag from the list, and then you could edit by setting these fields at the bottom here. You can enable or disable the event by checking the checkbox here. This IO tag section is just for informational purposes, but it provides the details of the tag itself. The day of the week checkboxes allow you to check either all days as you want this event to happen every day, or check the specific days that you want it to happen, and the event will happen during those times, the times you set for that day. You have the length of the output in seconds. So what this means is you want this output to occur, or you want to hold the output out for a set number of seconds. Also, if you check the checkbox that's designated as minutes, then this value will be considered as minutes of an output. And then your start time at which you want to start holding this output out, and the end time that you want to stop holding it out. This is very important when you consider the next set of fields, which is the periodic interval in minutes. And periodic means that you're going to hold that output out for the time given by the length of output here, but then you're going to repeat that every so many minutes. So a good example of that is, let's say you had the length of output in seconds set to 60, and then you had the periodic interval in minutes set to 1. What that means is that output would be held out for 60 seconds, and then it would be repeated every 1 minute after that. And then you could check periodic enabled, which would mean that this periodic event is going to occur. If you don't check that, then it's going to hold the output out for 1 minute and then not do it ever again during that schedule. It's very important, if you have periodic interval enabled, then you want to set your end time, because if you don't, then it's just going to keep doing it on a periodic basis, starting with that start time and never ending effectively. And so you can manage your timed events in this way. And then lastly, once you make that change, then click the save button, and your timed event will be enabled and set and will start happening. A good example of how this is used is if you want to turn lights on at a particular time of day, or turn them off at a particular time of day, or you want to shunt a door, let's say the entrance to the visitation area, you want to shunt it from 8 to 5 Monday through Friday, then you could do that. Another important feature, which is accessed through the service screen, we mentioned that in the last session as well, is the IO tester or the EC tester. What this allows you to do is test the logic of your EC to make sure that it's operating properly. So a good example would be, let's say that you've got a report that a door is not indicating correctly, that maybe the door is open but it's not indicating that it's open on the touchscreen, and maybe you want to verify that the logic is working, that you're actually getting bits back and forth on a particular sheet. And this all goes back from the beginning of the videos that we started with, understanding the 64-bit addressing and the sheet addressing of the embedded controller. So if you haven't covered that, then you need to go back to that first and then move forward to this. But what you'll see here is first the processor that you're wanting to look at. So you'll pick the processor sheet that has the programming on it that you want to look at. The in channel or in register to use for inputs. Typically that's the LED, so you're wanting to see that LED back. But if you wanted to see what am I getting directly from the field, then you could change that to AI, which is your A input, and you'll see what the EC is seeing from the field devices when that state changes. And so you could eliminate your logic altogether and just see what the EC is getting. And then your out channel is going to be your output, where you're going to put that switch out to. And so we typically set that to your switch row so that the logic for your pulse or your toggle or your straight happens and goes out to the field. If you wanted to bypass that there again and just put directly out to the A out, then you could change that to AO and it would put directly out to the output for 500 milliseconds, which is the output time for this when you click the LEDs here. And so this set of 8 rows of 8 addresses a row give you the 64 addresses on this sheet. And so if I click on this address 00, then my output will go out the switch row, and whatever logic is associated with that should operate and open the door or turn on the intercom or whatever it is you're trying to look at. And if the state changes on the LED row for that sheet, then these LEDs will change to indicate the change red to indicate that the state has changed.